I do love a good protest. And now, I'm very excited to welcome this gentleman to the Good Evening stage for the very first time. He's a comedian and host of a show at Constellation called It's Happening at Constellation, aptly named. Will you please give it up one more time, first time, we'll do it again after, for Bill Bullock, everybody!
Oh, yes. Hello, it's happening. Oh boy. Okay, hi, hello. It's good to, well, that's gonna happen. Hey, I'm Bill. Nice to meet you guys.
Hey.
How are you doing? So, just right off the bat, I gotta say it out loud, because it needs to be said. I'm a black nerd. I don't know if you guys can tell that. I know you're looking at me and there's like cameras and stuff, but like close your eyes and continue to listen to my voice. Do I sound like that? Do I sound like a black person to you? Like, would you be like, oh yeah, that's a black guy if you just heard me on the phone? No. And it's weird because like, I'm trying to be like an entertainer, right? Like I want to be like out here. I want to be cool. I want people to like know who I am. But I think it's really weird because like, if I was in Hollywood, like I don't think there's any parts for people who like look like me but sound like me. You know what I mean? Like I don't get to be like gangster number 3 on SVU. That's not gonna happen. I think the only part that's available for dudes who look like me is like the hipster DJ in the Pringles commercial, drumming on the top of the can. You know, just teleporting from the club to the beach. It's real weird. I was trying to sell a bed on Craigslist recently. You guys ever try to sell anything on Craigslist? It's already like a huge nightmare. But imagine like you're trying to sell your bed. It's an even bigger pain in the ass, and it's fucked up. Like I either got just creeps, who had a lot of questions, or regular people who had more questions, and it's very strange. It's like, why do you need to know what brand it was and how many times? Listen, we're not gonna get into the questions. But I was talking to some friends about it. I was like, why does no one want to buy this bed? It's like annoying. It was like I was trying to get somebody to buy it, and no one wanted it, and I eventually threw it out. And she was like, well, it's pretty obvious actually. And I was like, well, it's not obvious to me, so why don't you tell me? And she says, well, I don't want to be on anything that you fucked on. I don't want to be on anything I know you had sex on. And I was like, well, we're having this conversation on my couch while we eat dinner on my table. And we cook that dinner on my stove. And later we're gonna wash the dishes in my sink. I fucked on all those things. And none of them had a sheet on it. So like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's double standards is what I'm trying to say. Out here shaking down these double standards. Speaking of which, I am a feminist. That's a thing. Thank you. It's weird because like this is like a very progressive crowd. Obviously, you guys seem pretty cool. But like normally at comedy shows and bars with old people and weird people and suburbanites and stuff, I don't get that woo or really anything. I'm a real hero out here. I'm fighting the good fight. But like normally, I actually get a lot more questions, especially when I get off stage. People ask me a lot of questions. The first question that I usually get, the one I get most often is, what? And that's it. That's the question. I think it's just because they just don't believe me, and I know what it is. It's because when you're a black male comic and you go on a stage and say, "I am a feminist," people just expect that the next thing you're gonna say is, "But women do be shopping a lot, though." You know what I mean? And they do. So let's talk about that. No. Oh, that would be horrible. What if that was what I actually did? No, but it's true. Like I think that the biggest reason I think that it's important for someone who looks like me and is my gender to say this out loud is because no one else does. You know what I mean? Like people don't talk about it, and it does affect me too. Like the patriarchy and gender inequality affects me all the time, and I don't like it, and I hate it. I hate the fact that we can't talk about it with somebody without somebody doubting you, right? And so like, let me give you an example. I go to comedy shows. They're usually at bars. I drink because I'm a comic. And I often find myself walking home because I'm not gonna get arrested. And I'll be walking home alone, and I'll see a woman also walking home alone in the opposite direction. And as we get closer to each other, I can tell that she's like tensing up. Her body language changes, and she feels unsafe. And I understand why, because she doesn't know me, I could be a monster. And she could be right. Like, I don't know. How does she know, right? And me, I know that I'm a sweet boy. Like, look at this guy. Look at these skinny jeans. and this skinny haircut somehow. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know though, and all I want to do in that moment is reassure her. That's all I want, is to let her know that for once in her life that she's gonna be fucking safe around a man at night or in the day or ever in her life. But you can't. How do you do that? Like, how do you reassure someone that you don't know on the street that you don't have any interest in hurting them or assaulting them or harassing them or anything? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, yell at them? Like, it's like, hey, just so you know, I'm not gonna say anything about your tits. You're already doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you're already doing it. It's like, I'm not here to harass. She's already running away. Like, the cops are already coming. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you can tell. I don't want to be around cops right now. But it's weird, because, like, what if you did it? What if you convinced her? What if you finally, for once in your life, were the first man to make the first woman feel safe for the first time on the street alone? And then she immediately gets pulled into an alley and murdered because you gave her a false sense of security. You know what I mean? Like, it's my fault. I should go to jail for that. That usually gets more. No, but I do think about this a lot. Like, I actually think about this quite a lot. Because I like to be sad all the time. And I was trying to think, like, what is a real solution? Because that's not the solution. Just like, I want to, like, tell a person that I'm not interested in hurting them, but that's not a real solution. And I was thinking about it, and I think the best solution to not make a woman feel safe, or make her not feel unsafe, is to just walk by and not do anything and let her go about her day. But, like, I do this for a living. Like, me not making an observation and yelling about it is, like, pretty impossible. You know what I mean? It's very weird. But, like, what's a real solution? For real. Like, let's think about it for a second. Like, we live in a society that's, like, 51% women, and they feel more unsafe than the 49% of men in the world, right? Like, I think we just have too many men. You know what I mean? Like, we have too many dudes. I think we should just kill most men. I think we should kill, like, 90% of men. Is nobody with me on this? There's a lot of women in this audience for, like, nobody to have clapped at that. Like, for real, we got, like, forklifts and shit now. We don't need dudes, you know what I mean? What are they for? Like, what do we need them for? Nothing. I think we should live more like lions. After we decimate males in society, we should live like lions. And if you know anything about lion pride societies, which I do because I researched it for this joke, they live in prides, which means like 20 to 30 usually interrelated women, a couple adolescents, and one maximum of 2 adult male lions, right? And don't get it twisted. The male lions are not like out here like on harem shit, like I'm in charge of all of this, I'm the king of all I see. You know what I mean? Like, that's not for real. That's not, the Lion King lied to you is what I'm trying to say. Everything the light touches, nah, homie, you're on thin ice, and this is Africa, so you know it's thin. What I'm getting at is this, like, do you think that men would act the same way if they didn't have the power that they had and the numbers that they have and the protection that they have of being just an anonymous, horrible man? Do you think that dudes would be in the club slipping shit into drinks and grabbing women's asses and doing horrible things and saying horrible things if they knew that there were actual real repercussions, that 20 of that woman's sisters would immediately grab him, take him up to the roof, and Mufasa him off the side? No, it wouldn't go down like that. And they would be right to do so. And he'd be trying to make excuses. He'd be trying to like shake it off, like joking. He's like, ladies, I was just kidding. No, I know. It's not, don't throw me off the roof. Please don't, no, to Benya. You know what I mean? Such a stupid joke. The people laugh, so I keep doing it. So I'm bad at relationships. I don't know if you can tell, but when I date women, I date women. Is that clear? I don't know if that's clear ever, so I think I have to say it. I date women mostly, and I'm bad at relationships though, and I don't really understand what it is, but I'll give you an example of a situation that I had that it baffled me, right? I was in a thing with a woman, and we were hanging out. We'd gone on 2.5-ish dates. And she was like, Bill, you want too much from this relationship. You expect too much too soon. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't expect very much from you at all right now. I guess what I didn't expect tonight was for you to show up to our 3.5-ish date, high on Molly, and making out with your coworker. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I don't expect much, but I guess that's a little bit to expect from me. And I don't really think about, like, what you are or who you are as a woman at all, like, in a general sense until we talk to each other, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really want anything in particular. I don't have, like, like a type or anything. I mean, I guess if you have like a funky haircut and complex opinions about the school to prison pipeline, we can text. But that's all. That's all I need. I know. I said a very specific type after I said I don't have a type. God's working on all of us. You know what I mean? But it's true. Like I don't really want a whole lot from relationships, and I don't really know what I want to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? I think I'm like twisted up. I'm like all over the place with it, and I think it comes from. I think I discovered this source. I think it comes from like growing up with like 80s and 90s R&B love songs. You guys know about these R&B love songs? No, not at all. You know, like Boyz II Men and not R. Kelly, but like, I mean, he was in there, but like now it's like hard to. But I think they fucked me up because they're really binary. Do you know what I mean? They're really binary, and I don't mean just the gender binary, but that's true too, but like, that's not where I'm going with this set right now. It was enough of a TED Talk earlier. They're really binary in that the subject is always either one of two things. It's always either, we're gonna be in love forever. We're gonna be in love until we are dead, and when we are dead, people will sing about our love. We are Romeo and Juliet Part 3. You know what I mean? Or, let's fuck in this club tonight and never speak to each other again, and that's it. Those are the only two options, and I think that's way too big of a spectrum, and there's nothing in the middle. I want something that's more realistic. Something that's more contemporary to me today would help a lot, because I would learn a lot more about what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I came up with a little something, a little hook from a love song that does not exist, but I think should, so if you'll indulge me, I'll sing it for you. I think I want a love song that's more realistic, more contemporary, more accurate to how I live my life currently. So the hook would probably go something like this. And I'm gonna love you for 6 months until we both get bored. And when we're done, we won't break up, I just won't call you no more. Oh, Cupid, okay, Cupid girl. And when I say call, I mean text. What are we, crazy? You know what I mean? Okay, that's been my time. I'm Bill. Bill Bullock, everybody. Yeah, all right. I'm trying to find the X.
I don't get one.
It's more like it's more like just a square. It's not really even in it. Like,
And I don't have anything, so I just drift off into this ocean-like floor.
wow, I didn't even notice that.
I
It's
have
pretty
no
great.
ballast, I have no buoy, nothing. But we'll talk. Hey, Bill. Hey, man. Hey.
Hey.
Good to see you.
to
Thanks
see
for
you as
being here.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. So, Bill, what's coming up? What's next? Obviously, as I mentioned before, you're the host of It's Happening at Constellation,
That's true.
which happens at Constellation.
Constellation,
It does,
yeah.
yes.
It's funny how that works.
It's a great name. So, what's next? Is there a show coming up? Do you have any sets approaching that people need to know about? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm all over town right now. August is really crazy for me. But I'm also kind of branching out. So It's Happening as an experimental variety show. I'm the host. There's stand-up comedians, dance curated by Lynx Hall, a live house band that I never know what they're going to be until they walk in the door. One time they were like a full jazz band. The next time they were basically like Yaz. Like they were like
Yaz?
Yeah. You know Yazoo? Never mind.
Yes.
You know Kraftwerk? They were like very
Kraftwerk.
70s electronic-y, like weird. And it was like, and then we had an opera, you know, like an opera stand. It's weird. It's a weird
It's a grab
show.
bag. They call it a variety show for a reason.
I never know what it's gonna be until
great.
we walk through the door and I'm hosting it and having a panic attack. So that's always good. But
I don't know what that's like.
I'm branching out. I'm also branching out. I'm trying to do other types of performance. I'm performing in the Fly Honey Show.
The Fly Honey Show.
On August 18th, 19th.
Inconvenience? 18th, 19th, and 20th of August. We're big fans of the Inconvenience and the Fly Honey Show here.
I'm a member of the Hive now, so
All right.
buzz, I guess. And then, yeah, just look me up on my website, BillBullockIsAComedian.com. See how that works?
That's a good
Nice.
URL.
I know.
Nicely done. Well, we'll see you at the Fly Honey Show, all of
Absolutely.
you at the Fly Honey Show.
You'll see a lot of me at the Fly
And,
Honey Show.
Thank you for being here again. Please, guys, one more time, give it up for Bill Bullock. And now is the most produced and television show-like part of the show where we're going to set up for She Speaks in Tongues.